Let's embark on and journey back in time to 1989, where something remarkable happened in the deep forest outside the city of Leningrad in the Soviet Union. In those woods, there lay a forgotten relic of the Great Patriotic War, untouched and unnoticed since way back in 1943. A group of hunters exploring a serene silver birch forest, far away from the bustling cities. But what they stumbled upon wasn't an ordinary wolf, it was a metal wolf. This metal wolf was none other than the Focke Wulf 190, famously known as the butcher bird. You see, it played a crucial role in World War II and became a legend in its own right. And guess what? This discovery has been one of the most extraordinary finds from that era, never before surpassed in its significance and rarity. Amidst the forest young birch trees, the hunters found an almost complete German fighter from World War II, its paint still proudly displaying its history. Let's take a closer look at this incredible discovery. As experts examined the aircraft, they noticed something quite striking. The national markings were still bright on its fuselage and wings, with a black swastika adorning its tail. The preservation was so astonishing that it seemed like the plane had crashed only days or weeks ago, even though it had been 46 years since that fateful event. As more qualified experts arrived at the scene, they were able to properly identify the aircraft. It turned out to be a Focke Wulf FW190A5 belonging to the 4th Staffel of Jagdschwader 54, a significant finding indeed. But that's not all. Inside the cockpit, they discovered the pilot's leather flying helmet and headset, adding an extra layer of intrigue to this captivating story. Can you imagine the pilot's journey and the events that led to this amazing discovery? The aircraft was in an extraordinary state of natural preservation. Despite its years, the damage was surprisingly minimal, mainly from the wheels-up belly landing, which caused crushed wing leading edges and a cracked spar. What's truly astonishing is that no one had visited the plane since the pilot, either Felt Weber or Sergeant Pal Ratz, staggered away from the crash site. Imagine the scene. The pilot first grabbed the first aid kit from its compartment before leaving the aircraft untouched. The crash occurred only about a dozen miles from the German front line, but the pilot, Sergeant Pal Ratz, had joined the squadron just 10 days before the accident happened on July 9, 1943. After the crash, fate took an unexpected twist for Ratz. He was picked up by a Soviet patrol and held as a prisoner in the Soviet Union until 1949. Sadly, before his aircraft was found in the Russian forest, the pilot, Sergeant Pal Ratz, had passed away. The weather and animals had certainly left their mark on the aircraft, which had rested in a boggy area. However, thanks to the region's low temperatures, as well as the protection provided by autumn and winter and heavy snowfall, the plane was surprisingly well preserved. Adding to the mystery, the forest had grown around the plane over the following 4 decades, concealing it from view until it was stumbled upon purely by chance. In 1991, when the Soviet Union dissolved, the decision was made to remove the FW-190 from the forest, and it was no small feat. A heavy-lift helicopter was largely responsible for this delicate and crucial preservation process. Now, let's rewind back to the 19th of July 1943, the day when Sergeant Pal Ratz embarked on a daring mission. He took off with other JG-54 aircraft, all set to attack a Soviet armored train. Little did he know that this mission would lead to such an incredible discovery decades later. Sergeant Pal Ratz was no ordinary aviator. Before becoming a skilled pilot, he had worked as a ground mechanic and was also a specialist in ground attacks. According to Luftwaffe records, they believed his Focke Wulf 190 had been hit by Soviet flak, causing the crash. But hold on. When experts examined the plane closely, they made a shocking discovery. There was absolutely no flak damage on the aircraft. Instead, they found something suspicious in the engine. A brand new replacement engine had an oily rag deliberately inserted into a critical section, blocking an oil line. During its manufacture, someone had sabotaged the engine, seizing the chance to contribute to the effort of attacking the Nazis. This sabotage had disastrous consequences. The engine failed catastrophically, forcing Ratz to make an emergency landing in the nearest open ground he could find. You won't believe what happened next. The recovered aircraft caught the attention of none other than Paul Allen, the Microsoft billionaire. He decided to restore this historical treasure to flying condition, and it was a labor of love that took 20 years. Most of the restoration work was done by specialists in the UK. Today, the Focke Wulf 190 we discovered is hailed as the most completely authentic one still flying today. You can find this precious piece of history at the Flying Heritage Collection in Seattle, United States. Before you go, here's a little reminder. Keep your eyes peeled the next time you're walking in the forest. You never know what hidden treasures or surprises might be lurking behind the trees. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share it with your friends.